Okay, to begin with, big thanks for the invitation. My name is Theodosis. I'm the Conservation Projects Officer of the Live with Vultures project in BirdLife Cyprus. So the project started in October 2019 and will last until October 2023. The project implementation takes place in 9 Natura 2000 sites in Cyprus, and its main goal is to prevent the extinction of the griffon vulture from the island, safeguard the extremely fragile local population, and contribute to its recovery. One of the key actions of our project is to tackle the illegal poison bait use. 60% of the total budget is funded by the European Commission, and 4 partners are in the project: the Vulture Conservation Foundation, the Game and Fauna Service, which is the relevant authority for the protection of wild birds in Cyprus, Terra Cypria, and BirdLife Cyprus, which is the leading beneficiary. The population consisted of at least 100 individuals during the 1960s. However, numbers declined rapidly since then, with an estimated 20 pairs by the early 1990s, and just half of that by the turn of the century. And by 2012, the population size in Cyprus was estimated to have reached its lowest during the years, around 10 to 11 individuals, and just 1 colony remained active. So one of the main anti-poisoning actions of the project was the creation of a historical poisoning database, which spans from 1996 until today. We have 48 possible and confirmed incidents involving wildlife victims as a result of the use of poison baits in the countryside. And in addition, 15 incidents with only poison baits as findings at the crime scenes. Results from toxicological analysis are available only from 2015 and 2020 for Cyprus. This is when the state laboratory started conducting such analysis. 45 recorded possible and confirmed incidents involving use of poison baits in the countryside only, for both domestic and wildlife species. 39 of these 45 incidents are confirmed with a total of 63 victims, both wildlife and domestic animals. 25 of these were wildlife victims, with the most affected wildlife species being the griffon vulture. We had this mass vulture poisoning incident in 2015, where at least 8 vultures died. And this was a huge setback for recent conservation and population restocking actions that took place in Cyprus during previous projects. You can see that lots of birds of prey fall victims from this illegal practice, and other wildlife species as well. The rest of the victims were domestic animals, particularly dogs and cats. A total of 75 samples were retrieved from these victims, and only for 41 of these toxicological analysis could be conducted. In 34 samples, toxic substances were able to be traced, And you can see the figure on the left. The most commonly used group of substances in Cyprus is the carbamates, particularly methomyl, and then carbofuran, followed by fungicides, and finally organophosphates. There are various types of poison baits identified through our monitoring and investigation in the field. The most commonly used tactic by the perpetrators in Cyprus are meat chunks laced with poison, particularly pieces of pig skin with toxic substances, as you can see on the left picture, but also sometimes poisoned eggs and poisoned water are left out in the countryside. And more rarely, but this is more oftenly destructive for species like vultures, whole animal carcasses laced with poison. Hotspots where this illegal practice is used were identified mainly from a sociological study, a large-scale sociological study that took place in the home range of the species on the island. This study aimed to identify who uses poison baits, the groups of from the public who practice this illegal activity, and these are hunting areas with livestock activity and large numbers of livestock units, agricultural lands, and areas which are used for hunting dog training. This practice is also very common in urban areas in Cyprus, where poison baits are targeting dogs and cats. As you can see on the map, we use different spatial information. For example, the map shows areas with elevated livestock activity, vulture GPS data with ground speed 0. These correspond to feeding and roosting sites of the birds, and areas with recorded poisoning incidents over the years. So during the project, we produced different maps depending on the needs of the project, and such high-risk maps can guide and help us concentrate our conservation actions, such as the patrols of anti-poison dog units in specific areas, and the communication campaigns about the poisoning problem in local communities within the home range of the species. Now, in Cyprus, no perpetrators have ever been found and punished so far, and so no sentencing or persecutions took place. This is due to main gaps in the chain of custody and also the administrative framework. To begin with, the currently absence of specially trained anti-poison dog units. These are already used with success in other projects, as presented before. There is also a clear problem of illegal import and trafficking, as well as trade and easy access of the perpetrators to these toxic substances. To date, law enforcement authorities do not proceed in investigation of poisoning cases, and this depicts the general lack of environmental education and awareness in the country. Poisoning is not handled as a wildlife crime by by the competent authorities, and is low on the agenda. So this inaction presupposes the need for strengthening of environmental knowledge, awareness, and training for the officers of the for the low and high-ranking people in the police of Cyprus and for the legal service of the Republic. This is also due to lack of capacity to conduct proper crime scene investigations in the field, especially due to lack of training and specialized staff. So during the Live with Vultures project, we try to promote and adopt some solutions and recommendations through relevant project actions implementation. The creation of 2 anti-poison dog units is underway. These units will come to Cyprus and will come to action early spring 2022 as part of the anti-poison actions of the project. Relevant trainings are currently underway in Spain, and sharing of know-how concerning investigation of crime scenes with leading experts in the field. This training is provided for key stakeholders of the project, such as police officers, game and fauna service wardens, toxicologists, and veterinarians. We try to improve the response procedures to poisoning incidents, especially through improved collaboration and coordination between the main field authorities, the Game and Fauna Service and the Cyprus Police. During the project, a national anti-poison roadmap, a plan with all stakeholders on board will be produced, and this will include all the details of what to do in such poisoning incidents, and finally, adoption of preventative measures and deterrents, such as the anti-poison dog units and the resolving of conflicts among main stakeholders, hunters, farmers, livestock breeders, and also keep on a consistent investigation, training measures, and monitoring measures. Thank you very much.